It's 5:30. Are we ready to begin this meeting? Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. Thank you for being here. Notice is hereby given of a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the District to be held at 105 Port Road, Port Isabel, Texas on October 28, 2020 at the hour of 5:30 p.m. for consideration of the business of the agenda below. This notice is posted at the office of the District on October 23rd, 2020 at 9 a.m. in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551-041-551-050, not less than 72 hours prior to the time of the said meeting. We do have the presence of a quorum present in the boardroom. We have myself, Mr. Friedman, Mr. Houston, and Mr. Avalos joining us through Zoom. I believe we have, I can't see.
None of the board members, neither Jason nor
we do not.
Dr.
So we have no members present on Zoom. Correct. So at this time, we do have a quorum. If I may please have everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you again for another day that you have made for us, Lord. We just uplift all the COVID patients out there, and that you will be there helping and recovering all those that need healing, Lord. And we just want to thank you for the water district, that we've been safer, Lord, and protected by you, that you continue doing that. And we just also pray for wisdom and knowledge, Lord, on the agenda that's coming up for the public and for all the communities, Lord. That we make the best decisions. In Jesus' name we pray, and thank you for everything. Amen.
Moving on to item 3, invitation to the audience for public comments. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Victor Baldovinos. Just want to report that early voting is still going on until Friday, October 30th. And then, of course, our voting day will be on November 3rd. Additionally, I want to make sure that everyone knows that they can sign up. We're having a Halloween Water Smart drawing, and we're raffling off this barbecue pit along with a smaller one and some other goodies. That drawing will take place on October 30th, which is this Friday. The drawing will close at noon, and we will have the drawing in the afternoon. Thus far, since October 15th that we put it on social media, till now we've had over 70 people sign up, and total we have 2,616 total registered. So we want to encourage everyone else that hasn't registered to take advantage of it. Water Smart has all kinds of things in there that are very, very good for everyone as a customer. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to add something?
Yeah, I was impressed with the Water Smart. I knew it was good for leaks and whatnot, but I got a notice the other day that basically said water was running. It was such a small amount. I knew it had to be a toilet. And I was out of town, so I sent my neighbor over. He said, yeah, the toilet was running. So, I mean, it's that sensitive just to pick up that amount of, I think they call it continuous use or something like that.
Our goal is to have the entire district signed up, so let's keep pushing hard at it. Anyone else like to add something?
Yes, I do want to, on that part, that Victor came with that idea of getting that gift, and it comes from him. So I just want to thank Victor for that, and make sure that the public understands that there's a gift here waiting for someone.
Yes. Yes. I also sent out last week a mass email to all 1,200 unregistered accounts that we have emails for. Sent out a mass email just inviting them again to sign up. So just stay on top of it, trying to invite as many people as possible.
That's our goal. Anything else in concluding? Let's move along to item 4. Consider and discuss for possible approval the minutes of the regular meeting from October 14th, 2020.
Oh, can we back up?
Yes.
I went to the groundbreaking of the new ecotourism Buena Vista last week.
Yes.
And it really is quite impressive to see what's coming there and everything. And Water District was recognized for its contribution as well as the county and the city. So it's going to be a big
asset.
big tourism draw once they get finished.
Very big community asset. Thank you, Herb. Let's move along to item 4. Consider and discuss for possible approval the minutes of the regular meeting from October 14th, 2020.
So move.
Motion made for approval by Mr. Houston. Second by Mr. Avalos. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are. None opposed. Motion carries. Let's move along to item 5. General Manager's report. Carlos?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. Just wanted to mention on the COVID that it is hitting hard still, and we need to be more cautious about everything that we do and who we encounter and who we meet. And the new Mary, thank you. She just produced this one today because it made some changes during yesterday and the day before. So that's an update, and we'll send the other two to the other board members. You can see that this month there's a total of 72 tested with 44 negative, and then 25 that tested positive, and then 0 on the pending, and 3 recovered. So I think that's the whole total. Mary, the whole total for the full month. Yes, because it keeps going. And I had another one that
you're
was
saying
up
a
by the
third?
month, but it's a little different. So yes,
A third of the workforce has been positive with the.
so if you can see there that from 40.5 to 72, it jumped like pretty close to over 30 in 1 month. So we, the employees have been encountering family members that are going here and there. So that's why we're emphasizing to be careful with who you meet outside the district, because we're taking care of the employees here at the district office.
Has been positive. That's serious.
Okay.
Your staff has been positive, is what you're stating. That's serious.
Yeah, well, it is pretty serious that we need to be careful with what we do outside the district. But well, all those here are okay, but then employees at some of the departments are getting pretty close to family members that have tested. So we need to test the employees also when they come in and let us know that they encountered somebody that was close to them and this and that. So we have to follow protocols. And again, the district employees have been doing okay and recovering. So just wanted to bring it up that we do emphasize the cleansing of their areas, the offices, the vehicles, and everything that we provide for them to utilize, like the hand cleaners, everything else. But yeah, it's scary out there. So let's see what else do I have. That's all I have on the COVID. But then again, we go to, I think the next one's the elections. I gave you a copy of early voting, which is has been over the records, the breaking records of 2018. So so we see that there's a lot of people going out to vote, and you see the numbers in there, which the general election itself, just the whole county, we've got 56,375 as of yesterday. Hold on. Thursday, October 22nd. So we'll bring the other copy. I didn't bring it. I have a copy here, but I didn't make. I'll give you all the copies from yesterday. Yesterday's 10 o'clock, and today's recording will come out tomorrow morning, so maybe I'll send it tomorrow morning so we can get today's voting. So if anybody has any questions on the elections or anything else, COVID or what?
We really need to stay on top of that.
Yes, we
And
just
that's
keep emphasizing and
masks.
working with employees and masks and everything that we need to. And we did close the front door, and we've been closing it for that long, that, you know, with the 4 months. So we got the back doors open for the employees to drop off or pick up, and that's about it. So we're doing our best that we can. So hopefully we can continue to be on the safe side.
Thank you, Carlos.
Okay, thank you.
Let's move along to item 6, Director of Operations report.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the collection and distribution department completed replacing part of the sewer and water lines respectively at Bass and Trout Avenue in Port Isabel. These lines were replaced because the city had decided to resurface the last 100 feet of each street with concrete. And G&T Paving, who is a contractor for the city, thought it would be of interest for us to change those lines. So they contacted Joel Lopez. And at that point, that's when I came in and reported to the board in early September of what was going on. So the collection department replaced 100 feet of clay sewer line that is about 18 inches deep with 8-inch PVC pipe towards the end of Bass, and used 58 feet of 4-inch PVC pipe to reconnect 3 laterals for private service to sewer taps. That was in Bass. In Trout Avenue, they used 170 feet of 8-inch CX PVC that replaced the old clay sewer lines, and they replaced 5 lateral reconnection taps for private use. The total cost of materials and labor for Bass was $3,530, and in Trout, the cost was $5,810. The combined total cost for the sewer lines being replaced was $9,340. The distribution at Trout Avenue replaced 4 inches of asbestos line and upgraded the water line by using 280 feet of 6-inch PVC pipes and approximately 40 feet of 2-inch PVC pipe that was used in the cul-de-sac, and used 40 feet of 1-inch municipal pipe for 5 residential service connections. The water line was placed at approximately 3 feet deep with about additional half a foot of caliche and river sand as the bed. There was more than 6-inch PVC pipe used that was replaced because the line was thrown on both sides of the street, and they connected it with the 2-inch PVC pipe so that it would loop and they wouldn't have a dead end on it. Whereas in Bass, they replaced the asbestos lines with 220 feet of 6-inch PVC pipe and installed 60 feet of 1-inch municipal pipe to make 5 separate residential connections. The cost at Bass for the water line was $17,450, and in Trout, the total cost as far as materials and labor was $25,535, which brought the combined total on the water line for $45,977. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Robert.
Any questions? Thank you.
Just on a side note, I attended a meeting for South Padre Island last week, and they did move forward with the construction of Laguna Boulevard. And based on that timeline, they're looking at somewhere around towards the end of summer by the time they start construction on that. The reason I bring it up is because I know we're going to be replacing a water line there.
Yes.
But I think there was some discussion also about a sewer line possibly being replaced as well.
Right.
Yeah, and I just
I
wanted
believe
to-
that was, Charles probably shed a little more light on that.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that we're budgeting for that, because it's not part of our bond project, but I just want to make sure that we do budget for that, make that replacement at the same time, if
Okay.
we can. but they did decide to move forward with it.
Okay, I'll get with Charles. Thank you.
It's gonna be non-drivable.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard.
Dr. Lalonde joined the meeting.
For the record, Dr. Lalonde has joined the meeting at 5:45 PM. Let's move along to item 8, Director of Finance report.
Oh, Scott, did you want to go through the engineer's report?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. My apologies, Charles.
That's
Let's
okay.
move along to item 7, District Engineers report.
All right. Good evening. Just apologize for being on Zoom. I attended a wedding this weekend that had about 100 people attend, so I'm waiting on some coronavirus test results just as a precaution. So here we are doing a remote meeting. So hopefully y'all can hear me okay. And then so yes. So the first item is just an update on our water plant SCADA. Really just to have a summary in here as far as we have received all the remote terminal units, and we've installed the altitude valves at Laguna Heights. That altitude valve is installed and working. Laguna Vista, the valve is installed and working. At Annie the valve is installed, but the bypass needs to be repaired. So that work is pending for us to get that altitude valve restored. And then again with Wisacha Tank, we're working with Dunham to get a bid package together to add a new tube storm door, so we can get an access that's big enough to get that valve installed there as well. And as far as the work with MPC, they have their antenna installer is basically installing the antennas at each site. They do have one piece that was still scheduled to arrive this week. And once that gets in, they should be able to get all the towers installed. And then we can look at getting into the new master control panel or new communications in service once we, as far as changing over to the new SCADA system, we can get that started here shortly after we get this missing tower stack and that last antenna installed. And so that's pretty much where we're at with our SCADA upgrade. And I don't know if you wanted to add anything on your end or if that pretty much sums it up.
No, that pretty much sums it up. Yep.
All right. So is there any questions, or we can move on to the next item?
Let's move along.
All right. Okay. So the next item is the lift station rehabilitation, just the project status of our lift stations. As you're aware, we awarded lift stations 1 and 37 to Southern Trenchless. Their start date is November 9th. And so that's just moving right along and getting going. And then one other item that I guess Friesen Nichols has done their QC on the 90% plan for the remaining sites. And they had some fairly significant comments that we wanted to incorporate. For example, at Lift Station 4, really their analysis really showed that we need a new wet well there rather than trying to rehab the existing one. And so we pretty much reviewed the cost as a whole and have to adjust the scope accordingly to stay within budget. And so really kind of the main impact of that is 3 of the lift station sites are being considered as an alternate bid rather than being part of the base bid, just so we can make sure our construction contract stays within budget. But that's kind of the main update of what's going on there. I don't know if we got some guys from Friesen Nichols. I think Juan Bujanos is attending in person. If you'd like to add anything, or Kucherika, if you want to bring up any input on that respect.
All right, this is Charles Kucherika. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes. When we were, as Charles mentioned, as we were doing the final QC checks, Lift Station 4 was always kind of on the fence because it was a smaller wet well, and the design of the wet well itself kind of led to clogging and maintenance issues for Francisco and the district operators. When we approach these projects, we approach them as rehabilitation projects and not trying to expand the scope. But then when we look further at Lift Station 4, which Lift Station 4 pumps into a joint force main with Lift Station 10, and so hydraulically they're tied. And so the challenge that we ran into is trying to one, fix lift station 4 to where there would be less issues with clogging for improved maintenance, but also allow enough wet well volume, because that site is going to be expanded. That lift station is going to be expanded quite a bit with the new subdivision coming in. And so what we're having to do is find pumps that would work for lift station 10 and lift station 4, but work together. And that's where we ran into some challenges, that we just couldn't find a pump that would fit between those two. So that's where those challenges came in. Charles and F and I, we met together and we went through value engineering options and identified some, such as those other lift stations that we're going to bid as alternates. That way, if prices do come in, since we've already got those sites designed and engineered, we're going to go ahead and include them in the bid package. And if prices come in well, which, you know, prices did come in pretty well for lift station 1 and 15 or 35, then possibly we can still get those other projects done.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
Anyone got anything?
Yeah, I have a quick question. This is Dr. Lalonde. Does your engineering firm have any conflict of interest when you make those determinations? Like, if you decide, hey, we got to do more here, does that just put more money in your pocket, or just sort of expand on that idea a little bit?
Well, from in general, you know, the way we would approach the district is that we want a long-term relationship with the district. And so we're not looking to take advantage of any opportunity just to put money in our pockets and then walk away. And so we're tied to the district, and we're committed to the district long term. Beyond this project, is, you know, we're trying to earn the next project working with y'all. So ethically, and just the way we approach our clients, is more a relationship that we're trying to develop. And so I know personally we don't want to take advantage of any certain situation. Now, because we've already kind of gone through the design of lift station 4 and lift station 10, and replacing lift station 4 is going to be some additional services, and I spoke with Charles about that we are going to have to get some additional geotechnical engineering, which is a sub. We are going to have some additional structural engineering that we would have budgeted for if we had originally thought we were going to have to replace lift station 4, but we originally approached it as a rehabilitation. So we do anticipate a forthcoming amendment for your consideration. It'll be under $20,000. We are participating in that change, in that all the redesign for the actual piping and the new structure and all the changes that come with changing the water development board stuff, we are doing that on our own effort. So pretty much it's only stuff that's we would consider that y'all would have paid for if we originally had identified it as a replacement and not a rehabilitation. So I would say no, we're not taking advantage of a situation, and we're not ethically trying to make more money. And if there's anything I can do to make you comfortable with that, because we never want you to think that we are taking advantage of a situation.
Thanks, Charlie. You know, I just think it's important that you guys outline your thoughts on it, and that it's clear not just to us, but the rest of the public at large, how the whole process plays out. So appreciate your words.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, and I suppose one other scope revision is that the lift station 25 force main, which is the one at Porty's Lynn, and you know, for the whole gravity main along 2nd Street to get all the lift stations decommissioned on the south side from Stripes to the pawn shop. So that's able to stay in the budget on the south side. But what we ended up doing is that force main, which broke while we were trying to clean and inspect it, we're going to definitely be replacing that section more or less from Pizza Hut and under 100, and disconnect it from the manifold to the pressure main at lift station 4. But as far as the portion of force main under the parking lot at the hotel and getting down to 100, that's going to remain in place just to keep this project in budget. And it also, and to our knowledge, it's PVC pipe as well, so we should be okay with that.
You want to add anything?
I
Carlos?
do wanna add, just, that we do have those meetings where there's, any changes or change orders that come up. We do verify and, they show us what is needed, just to make sure that, they're not, taking advantage of us. We do double check, and that's why we have an, in-house engineer and myself and Robert and the staff to go look at all the equipment that they're recommending to do, and verify that it's a need, not something that just want to add it to the project. So we do make sure.
Staff and the board are always
Staff.
aware of
Yes,
what's
and
going
the
on.
board too. Yes, that's all I have. Thank you.
Just a quick follow-up. I didn't want to imply that Charles is taking it, and the engineering firm is Freese and Nichols is taking advantage of us. And I didn't use those words, so I want that to be clear. But I did think that it's important to outline, well, where might there be a conflict of interest, and then how do we manage that conflict of interest as a district? So, Carlos, that's exactly the type of thing that I would expect you to say and expect us all to do. That when an engineering firm brings something up, that our own in-house guys who have been doing this and are familiar with it for decades sort of vet that and make sure that those changes are something we really need to do. So that's it.
Yes,
Thanks.
no, yeah, that's Charles. I appreciate the input. Yeah, and definitely. I mean, one of my main roles is to be a watchdog and make sure that the work we're getting under contract is in the best interest of the district and really addressing our highest priorities with the limited funds that we have.
Yeah, and this is Charles Katurka with Freese Nichols, and I know absolutely that we are losing money from the engineering standpoint by making these changes, but we feel that it's important that we do participate because we are making this change kind of late in the project, and so the amendment that we're going to be asking for is more or less covers pretty much out of scope stuff, but everything that we've done to this point, we're writing off to make these changes. So, whatever we need to do to be transparent, that we're showing that we are in fact participating and taking responsibility for some of these changes financially, we'd be happy to do so. We can show you what we anticipate the cost of the changes can be, and then what we're actually providing, at our cost. Because like I said, we never want you to think that we're taking advantage of a situation.
Thanks, Charles. Well, I know, when we're looking at spending tens of millions of dollars, those types of considerations on the engineering side, that maybe you guys have to eat that cost a little bit are, I think you'll make it up in the long run, but certainly, those considerations are appreciated, and that's part of doing business.
Right. That's part of being in a relationship, and that's what we see it as. And sometimes there's a lot of give in a relationship, and but we felt it's in the best interest of the district to make this change, and we don't think that the change should be wholly burdened by the district. We need to participate in that. So
Thank you to all. Let's move along. Let's item 8, Director of Finance report.
This is a COLA update on November 19, 2019. The Board of Directors approved a automatic cost of living adjustment on the condition that it not exceed 2.5% without board approval, and that the amount should be reported annually to the board, and that the COLA be equal to the same adjustment used by the federal government for Social Security benefits. So I'm reporting that the latest COLA is 1.3% for Social Security benefit payments, and the board, that the district will be making that effective on employee payroll checks payable on January 8th will be the first payroll affected. And this was within the budgeted amount of 1.4%. So,
Shouldn't that be an action item?
well, no.
It will be next.
The action was taken at that time that it'd be automatic. So it's just a report. I'm just reporting it to you.
But shouldn't have to be. I guess
Well,
it's just an ongoing. No, I remember when we did it.
Yeah, last year, the board had, mentioned that if it's above the 2.0 or 2.5, that we
Then
need
it'd be
let
a
the board
board
approve it. If it's under that,
It's
just
ongoing.
report what it is and just move forward with it. Unless the board wants to make any changes on that one, but that was, last year's, agreement.
No, that's fine.
If you want to take action, I can put it on the next agenda item, on the next meeting.
It's under the 2.5 and 1.3, right?
This time it's 1.3.
Okay. Any comments or anything? Anyone? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Let's move along to item 9. Consider and remove from the table the following item tabled at the regular meeting on October 14, 2020. Consider and discuss for possible approval of order adding land described as a 23.02 acre tract in the town of Laguna Vista, Cameron County, also known as Laguna Vista Eco Park subdivision. Motion to take off the table by Mr. Houston, second by Mr. Avalos. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
The item's off the table. Let's move along to item 10. Consider and discuss for possible approval of, no, I'm sorry. It's off the table, but should have a item going forward with it.
We're gonna,
Yeah, this Charles, if I could comment, I spoke with Ed Mesa today, and they are still pending approval of the resolution. Their next meeting is scheduled November 10th, so that they just haven't had a meeting to take action on the resolution. So we're still at the same point as we were in the prior meeting as far as wanting to get that approval before we take action on this item. So I'd recommend we keep it
So
tabled.
we're gonna, item 10, need a motion to table.
so move.
Motion made by Mr. Avalos, second by Mr. Houston. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
Item has been tabled. Item 11, consider and discuss for possible approval of bad debt write-offs for fiscal year 2020.
Joan, I have two lists, one for utility accounts. Total utility account write-offs are $6,697.42. And then I have another list of miscellaneous invoices for $2,290.73.
How many people does that represent?
On the utility accounts, it is 51 accounts. And on the miscellaneous invoices is 5.
And of those 51 accounts, are they all have no more water on, or what's the status?
That's correct. All of these accounts have been finalized, and our efforts to collect have been unsuccessful. So these people don't have active accounts, at least not in their name that we're aware of. Whatever deposits we had have been applied, and that's all that we have at this point.
Move to approve.
Motion for approval made by Mr. Avalos, second by Mr. Houston. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are. None are opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Let's move along to item 12. Consider and discuss for possible approval of the purchase of one utility truck.
Chairman and members of the board. Last meeting, we talked about the vehicles we're going to purchase. This is the one needs to have a utility truck with the hydraulic lift gate. It will be a difference in price of $13,785. But the staff is recommending for approval to award the contract to Caldwell Country Chevrolet for $49,760.
So this is above budget, but it's also a
Different specs.
bigger and better truck.
Yes.
Different specs.
And it's also for a separate department. We've approved a couple of these already. This is for construction. I'll move to approve.
Motion for approval by Mr. Avalos,
Second.
second by Mr. Houston. All those in favor?
Aye.
They are. They're none opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Enjoy that nice new fancy truck. Let's move along to 13. Consider and discuss for possible approval of the purchase of the mini excavator.
This is one of the items also approved at the budget for this year. The purchase a mini excavator for the collection department. The staff is recommended the board approval and award the contract to Doggett John Deere for $48,500.
There's a motion made by Mr. Houston for approval. Second by Mr. Avalos for approval. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
None are opposed. Thank you. Motion carried. Very nice. Let's move on to item 14. Consider and discuss for possible approval of repairs of the Port Isabel wastewater treatment blower.
There is one blower at the Port Isabel wastewater treatment plant that needs to get repaired. So the blower is already there at South Texas Machine Shop. We had an original repair quote of $6,000, but upon they take a look and dismantle the blower, they let us know they need more job. So the price that is right now to repair the blower is $12,646.65. After discussion, the staff with the operation manager and get a quote for a new blower instead of going for the repair. For a new blower, it's $65,000 to get a new one. So the decision was made to go ahead with the repair.
Let me ask you, due to the age of what this blower is, and I know we don't know what this future life expectancy is, but is the consideration best to buy a new one or fix this old one? Do we think we can get ample time to pay for it?
The wastewater treatment plant, it has 3 blowers. The turbo blower is the one that is working right now. That was updated in the 2017. When they upgrade the plant, they change one of these multi-stage blowers and they have this turbo blower. So that's the one is working. The multi-stages are more like a backup when they need to do some maintenance on this turbo blower. So they're not in use.
Okay.
So that's why.
Just for roughly a quarter of the price, it just.
Yes.
Yeah, I talked to Mr. Samaniego earlier about that too, because I looked at the age also of this blower and I was thinking, well, maybe we need to get a cost estimate on replacing all the blowers. But as it turns out, these are not used all the time. And there's only one that's used all the time. And that's the one that's working now. But I think that based on the fact that we don't use those all the time, it might be.
And it's the first time we're going to do a repair on any of these blowers.
Yeah, and that's what I asked him also, if he could give me a history of how much money we put into these blowers, or say in the last 3 years. And so, nothing so far. So.
Yeah. This is Charles, and as far as the because since there are phases 2 and 3 planned at the Port Isabel sewer plant, eventually these blowers are planned to be decommissioned with those future phases. For example, when we get the sludge holding tanks, they'll have a new set of PD blowers, and then when we expand the plant to 2 MGD, we would add a second turbo blower. So these have just since they were still working and we could use them as backup, that's why they're still in service today.
We are recommending going ahead with the repair to South Texas Machine Shop for the $12,646.65.
Motion for approval by Mr. Avalos, second by Mr. Houston. Are all in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Are all in favor? Dr. Lalonde?
Aye. Yes, sorry. Thank you.
All in favor? Yes. Motion carries. Thank you. Let's move along to item 15. Consider and review expenditures from October 1st, 2020 through October 15th, 2020. Has everyone reviewed? Acknowledgement by Mr. Houston.
Acknowledged by Dr. Lalonde.
Acknowledge, second acknowledgement by Dr. Lalonde. All have acknowledged. Are they in favor? Mr. Avalos?
I just had a quick one question
Yes.
on page 5, Eddie, the Elon, is that our credit card services?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
It is. Yes, sir.
Oh,
That's 1 month of credit card.
I'm good with it.
Okay, all have acknowledged. That takes us to item 16, adjourning this meeting at 6:11 p.m. Meeting is adjourned. I thank everyone for their time and being here today. I wish everyone the best. Please be sure to go and vote.